Could everyone please let me know like where you guys are watching from? This is kind of new and interesting for us. I'd be curious to see where you guys are watching from. I have these conversations one-on-one a lot with people who are exploring investment options in Bogota. It just kind of hit to me about 2 p.m. yesterday that we've been planning to do webinars and put out some good content talking about visas and tax situations and investment opportunities in Colombia. And you look into how to do it well. You gotta get the good microphone, get the right camera, lighting. Putting on these productions is quite a task. So just kind of hit me. Listen, YouTube has a live stream feature. I've got the webcam. Let's sit down and have a chat about this tip. That's cool. All right, so we're from Kenya to Pennsylvania. Very cool. So hopefully this goes well. I really want to hear you guys' feedback about this kind of setup. If it is useful, please at any point ask me questions. I've been sending out newsletters, and I try to kind of tell the story of who we are and what we're doing, and the products that we have. If you guys have questions about at any point about the presentation or what we're talking about, just shoot them over, and I'll do my best to answer them. So let's for those who haven't kind of taken a look at the tip 102 yet, we'll get right in that presentation. I would like to cover how we got to this point. This is a very complex product. That's why I want to kind of have a good conversation about what this property is. Our story here started about 6 years ago. I was passing from Canada to Argentina on a motorbike. I was heading back to Australia to return to the real world, or what I thought was going to be the real world. And I saw something in Colombia that I didn't see anywhere else, especially in Bogota. And since that time when I arrived, I have not had a boring day since. It is, I really enjoy living here. It's taken a while for us to figure out our niche in real estate. We started very early on in that, about 5 or 6 years ago. It's with such a different profile of people coming to Bogota in many different sections, areas of town, from the Zona G to your 93, to the embassy crowd, to multinationals. Everyone is coming sometimes for family, and they prefer a suburban residential part to the north, Cedritos. There's so many different profiles of people arriving to Bogota. And I think that is kind of the draw to Bogota, as opposed to more central locations in Medellin, Poblado. It's very specific where you go, and the experience, the lifestyle is superb for a lot of people. It works for everyone. Cartagena with Boca Grande. In Bogota, you really kind of have to find your own lifestyle. And I think that's what most people who come to Bogota and end up in Bogota are doing, is they are discovering opportunity and a chance to carve out their own lifestyle in a mega city. You have 9 million people. You have 1 million more people coming from around Colombia to Bogota over the next 10 years. And they're coming to find a particular way of living. So we, instead of trying to please each one in those markets and really, to help someone find a property in Cedritos, you really need to dominate that part of town. The resources to cover all of these options from all of the different foreigners coming through, we didn't have that when we began. We started with a $20 WordPress template. So we've kind of narrowed down our focus. We've really learned the value of focus. We've created something here which has the priority to create passive income. When people are looking for investment properties, they're looking for that cash flow and that appreciation. So we've turned our focus now to a product which provides that. We get it that a property should be passive, that it should be as hands-free as possible. We feel that is where we can add value to you as an investor looking in Bogota and Colombia. for an investment property. You know, if you were to do these projects by yourself, it is completely possible. You know, we follow real estate best practices. You know, the strategies and the techniques are out there to add value in real estate. That's not the difficult part. You would be completely fine to you know, show up in Bogota and within 3 to 4 months, you know, get to know the market, identify a good deal on the market, identify contractors who can help add value to that property, and then you know, find contractors and property administrators as well who can help execute that project. Where we're adding value in this is that we want to do this completely hands-free for you guys. So I think most of you have seen the presentation of the property that we put together right now. I'm going to bring that up so that we can take a quick look through it. And if you guys have any questions about that, please just shoot them through in the chat box next to the YouTube window right here. Okay. Just going to find where your questions are coming up. There we go. Okay. So this is basically it. This is this property here is a property that we're currently managing 9 other properties in the building. It's a $70,000 US dollar ticket price. When we generate these projections, so we've got an 8.3% projection on this. We use 65% occupancy, and for this particular building, we're using $35 a night. Those are conservative projections for us. We like to be conservative. We like to surprise you guys. We like to you know, really bring. We like to impress. If we were to say, listen, we're gonna hit these higher numbers, and we hit those higher numbers, you know, it's a different story. So we like being conservative. We got 86.5% occupancy last month, but we continue to project these projections on at 65% because we want to show, you know, we want to be conservative. We don't want to kind of you know, misalign where we're going. So here it is. We'll go through it pretty quick. This is how we do it. We identified a good property. This one in particular came to us because we do manage the building, and we manage the apartment. We've actually been managing this property for the last 6 months. The owner is requiring to liquidate for personal reasons, and we were quick to pounce on this property because we have such strong rental data for the building. So what we've done now, we've locked it down with a purchase agreement, and at this step, we invite an individual investor to take the project, and we do everything on their behalf, and that includes the design and the renting of it and the management of it. And because it is one of our own properties that we're entering into our TIP program, it does have a discounted property management fee. So this is the building. It's 1 year old now. It's got a chorizo and a drogeria on the bottom floor now, which rented quite quickly. About 30 meters up the road is the Calle 57, so the Calle 57 Transmilenio bus station. Just last week, Peñalosa, the mayor of Bogota, and Santos, the president of Colombia, gave a conference explaining where they're at with the metro. It was their most significant promise in terms of making it happen. They also released the plan for the elevated metro, which will travel exactly along this line here. And most likely there will be a station on this corner, because 63 to the north is another significant stop at the moment. So it's most likely going to be a Calle 57 and a Calle 63 metro station. You've got a bunch of developments going on around in the zone, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So this is how the apartment is at the moment. It's 25 square meters plus an 11 meter square terrace. Now the design was okay. We liked the colors. Now my focus personally the last 6 months has been towards the apartment Bogota, and the apartment Bogota is our property management arm. So that's where we rent out these properties. That's where we get these projections. For us, data is so important, as well as the quality control of renting these properties out. So you'll see that that's this property right here, currently rented at $29 a night in its current form. We've got quite a strong rental history. With the improvements that we're going to do to this place, we can increase the rents quite easily, and really make some photos that are impressive. And when people are renting, they're looking at the photos. They'll spend 60% of their time looking at the photos before they choose a place to stay. So it's on the ground floor. It's got the terrace here. Brand new bathroom as well. This is your view from the terrace here. That can also be used for barbecue and functions as well. All right. So in its form, it's not going to be a major renovation. That's why roughly about 6 weeks, we can have this operating and generating cash flow. Chapinero Bajo, I moved from, I first arrived in Candelaria as a typical traveler through Bogota. It's a fun, hectic, chaotic lifestyle in Candelaria, but for long-term living, I pretty quickly decided on Chapinero Bajo in about 2010. In about 2013, it was the first time I wrote an article about what was happening in Chapinero Bajo, and it was the first time that I personally started seeing the potential of where this neighborhood was going, and I started understanding how the appreciation at that time was just arriving to Chapinero Alto and was about to flow through Chapinero Bajo. And based off the developments that are currently being constructed in the area, it's certainly coming to fruition. So here's the Caracas. That's the first red bus transmillennial mass transport bus system that comes right through here. It is the first line that was built, so it's due for the renovation, and I think they've been holding out for the metro plans to really do it as part of that. And I'll be straight up with you guys. This section right here is some of the ugliest real estate in Chapinero. And Chapinero, I'm talking from Calle 34 to Calle 100. So from 34 to 100. This section is the ugliest part of Chapinero. It also means that it's the most affordable. It also means that it is the easiest to refurbish. So right here on this block, we've met the owner who's spent 8 years acquiring 8,000 square meters. The last time we spoke to him, he was submitting his license in November last year to get a license for 49 stories. All right. Across the road, we have Oikos, who are building 320 apartments. They've sold out incredibly well. There's another development which is going on right here. So they're all going to be done within 18 to 36 months, and they're going to rapidly change the area. We've seen it happen next to Parque de los Hippies, which is up over here. There was a new construction that came in, and they really, the police station here started really paying attention to what was going on in the park. They've got, thousands of new residents that are moving into the section and turning this previously very commercial, very limited residential area into a much more thriving, young, active, urban community. So we're seeing a very rapid, rapid transformation in the zone. Calle 57, it's getting a lot of upgrades. You're seeing that go through here. In terms of the overall city picture, this you've got Zona Rosa, Parque 93, Zona G, all to the north and to the west, and then you've got Centro Candelaria to the south. So in terms of positioning yourself to experience Bogota, it's right in the sweet spot. So these are the numbers. If you guys we can go into these a little bit deeper if you guys have any questions specifically how this work. As I said, this is based off $35 a night. Our prices, the price of the apartment and the project is fixed at 205 million. Depending on the day rate, when this was calculated, it was about 70,000 US. So using $35 and we use a 65% occupancy, we can work out our gross annual rental income. We also have quite a bit of experience with the expenses of managing these properties. So we have 140 properties in Medellin through the apartment Medellin. We're now opening up in Cali and Cartagena for those. We also have 20 properties here in Bogota. So in general, running a furnished rental in Colombia, you're looking about 15% that you should expect per month. And then our property management and cleaning fees at 15%. We've just raised this to 20% because it is a very resource intensive operation to check in, from it could be just one guest, but up to 8 guests a month, picking them up in the airport, checking them in, coordinating cleanings, all of that. So our standard rate is 20%. For tip projects, we offer our property management services at 15%. And so using those numbers, we get our 8.3%, which we're pretty eager to beat. A few more kind of highlights. Just to be clear, we do get this question a lot. There is when you purchase a tip property, it is 100% owned by you. So we've locked down the property with a purchase agreement. We put down a deposit on the property. So when we take on a tip property, we realize if no investors want to partake in that property as well, we're going to be in a position where this is a property that we would take on and include as part of our inventory. But it makes sense more for our growth to offer this to an investor, and we can be more liquid and start locking down more of these deals. At the moment in Bogota, we're doing one every 2 months. We want to get that up to around one every month. So you do have, as an investor, you have complete ownership of the property. If you don't, if you want to manage it yourself, you want a family member to stay in it, in the property full time, no problem. You want to find a different property management, no problem. So it is completely your property. All right, if you are looking for a visa, this could apply. This can be a very, very kind of in-depth topic to go through. So if you have questions about that, we do have a visa expert who can help with that, and she is bilingual. Now, obviously, we are going to up the rents on this property. The way we're going to do that is to bring style and quality and just sexiness to the apartment. There's Sebastian and the team have really put some good work on this one, putting in a really comfortable, inviting feel to the apartment. This apartment is actually apartment 104 in the same building, so it's literally 2 doors down from tip 02. And I think the pictures speak for themselves. We've got that listed up, and it's going well. So when we really started working with First American in Medellin, we didn't have all the pieces of the puzzles, and they were already well down this road to start building the teams and the processes and the techniques to really execute these renovations well. So when we met them in Medellin, we had our residential and commercial sales going down, but we didn't have our design and property management, and that's really where so the skills that they have. These 2 properties here are in Medellin. This one is in Bogota. This is another one of ours. but they've been doing this for a lot longer, and they've brought in a lot of the skills. And as you can see, it's meant that we can hit the ground running and really provide some special properties. Again, this may qualify for a visa for yourself. So I mean, that's basically a brief overview of the property. Please let me know any questions you guys have from here while you guys are getting your questions. And this is I want to do these each time I send out a new tip. I think this is a good way for you guys to ask directly, and other people can benefit from the property, from the session. So I'll just put up the old the tip that we just finished right now. Okay, so Mike, okay, security. Good question. Because this is a part of town which is a bit less attractive than others. It means that well, here, let's go and take a walk around. So security. So I've been living right here for the last 4 years. It's I have not had one single security issue that I would complain about. Along Caracas, in some of these areas, there is some interesting characters. You have different people who are working on the streets. You have some people who are recycling. The thing is, appearances can be deceiving with this, as they the thing is, they live and they work. Well, they more work than live, but they work in the area, so they're not causing problems in the area. It's quite a busy. So this is the building where the tip is right here. It's quite a busy, active street. You cross Caracas and you're on the 13th Avenue. That's a very busy commercial district. As with anywhere in nighttime in Bogota, because it is a cooler climate, it does get a bit quieter. In terms of renting the property, it really hasn't been an issue. Some people have been arriving at midnight, and it's a different story at midnight, and they've made comments, but really it's more the initial appearance that can be that way. And as I said, picking an area which is up and coming is really important. So we're going 2 blocks up here. This is the 8,000 meter lot. So you can see at the moment, this is used for recycling. Caracas is used for some of the recyclers who sort through trash to get any quality materials. They'll use this area. Now the thing is, this lot is an 8,000 square meter lot with a license for 49 stories. So you can, once we've got, you got to think long term here, and this is an investment property for a long term cash flow investor. This is an 8,000 square meter lot. That's going to change the area completely. This is the development from Oikos. That's 320 apartments about to be built here. 2 different towers, 26 stories and 28 stories, if I'm not mistaken. There's also been another one which has just happened after that, and that'll be on these building here. Some of these buildings are quite old, falling apart. So there's no architectural significance to them. We've seen this happen in different cities all over town. But you've got 8,000 meters here, so you're going to have thousands of people living in this area, and once that happens, the security definitely changes. So the other question was a decades-long construction. Yeah, so that will be an issue for sure. I think the mayor is very focused on transport. Now the thing is, the mayor who executed this transmillennial system, which is the red bus system, that is the same mayor who is now back in charge, and I believe his legacy this time round is going to be the metro. He's got hundreds of infrastructure projects around the city. They've got a projection to finish an elevated metro in 2022. Now, will they hit that? That's anyone's guess. Who would be the best person to make it happen? I believe he is the best person to make it happen. If he was able to implement this system, which has now been copied 57 times around the world, I believe he'll be able to also execute the metro. So this will have the elevated metro through here. Now, it's not going to mean 5 years of construction on this corner. Obviously it's going all throughout the city. It will cause disruptions in terms of affecting the rental potential. Again, I don't see it as a huge issue because 98% of the guests arriving to that apartment don't have a car. The benefit of this zone is that you can walk or catch a taxi or get a bus or ride a bicycle and be in good parts of the zone. As I've said, I've lived down this road about 3 blocks that way for about 4 years, and it's been it's just a really central place to be. So okay, so let's just jump over here. We've got another question. Yes, Ente Kaya will provide the visa specialist for you. So Angela, how much does it cost to furnish and leave the apartment ready to rent? Are these costs included in the 2005 price? Yes. So when we package up the property, we do our budgets in terms of, okay, what's it going to cost to do any needed reservations, and from that point, we budget up and include our commission for executing the project, for furnishing, design, installing the utilities, absolutely everything. So we'll also have a power of attorney that we send out to the investor, and an operating agreement between the investor and ourselves. Those are really the only 2 documents that are required by the to make this project happen. Getting the finances to Colombia are an issue. So what we use to kind of accommodate that is we accept a PayPal reservation of 5%, which is $3,500 US. We'll accept that in PayPal, and then we begin the process of getting it ready for that individual investor. When that investor has their finances inside Colombia ready to go, we refund the PayPal deposit, and then we close the property into the name of the investor, and we begin the design and furnishing phase, which are included in that 205 million price. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, so shoot through any other questions. As I said, this session is for you guys. I have, after we release one of these tips, I get all kinds of questions and all kinds of different inquiries about how it works. I understand it is a new style of investing. I think the U.S. is moving towards the same way. There's a lot of companies who are starting to create services for that. They're especially in the U.S. I like to keep up to date with what's going on there with different podcasts and hear from different people in the industry about how they're making money in the industry. And from what it seems, it's becoming very difficult to generate these kind of returns in your local market. So we have a lot of people who are looking for ways to remotely invest, and the systems that we're putting together are providing that, and we happen to be in a country that is emerging, in a city that is the capital city. It truly is the beating heart of the country. It generates 30% of the country's GDP. You've got a growing middle class, which are putting a lot of pressure on the upper middle class real estate, and that's where we're focusing. Strata 6 was overbuilt. A lot of the local developers were really focused on Strata 6. So what's happened is that a lot of the prices in the new locations, a lot of the prices in Strata 6 have started cooling down because of what's you had 34% of construction going on in 4% of the real estate in Bogota, which is a very small part of the market. It meant that there was oversupply. It meant that they couldn't use the same model that they were using very successfully for the last 15 or 20 years. And you can see the evidence of that in Cedritos to the north, where the business model for 95% of local developers were to identify the largest piece of land they could, to build as many residential square meters as they could. Obviously, they'll use a sales room, which they'll build, and once they reach their break even point, and they've sold 60% more or less of their properties, they can begin development. And because the country is going through such a tremendous growth period, it meant that they didn't need to really think about extra ways to make residential living special. So because of Bogota has run out of land, that model hasn't worked the same way that it used to. And you see a lot of these developers going to Tunja, Ibagué, Villavicencio, towns outside of Bogota, where they can basically apply the same model. We're here in Chapinero because our model doesn't require empty land. It requires identifying properties which are undervalued, that are in a central location, that are currently being overlooked by local buyers who make up the majority of the buying pool. And we look for basic structures that we can add value to and start generating it through furnished rentals. And when we do that, that's when we hit our 8, 9, 10% net ROIs, as opposed to 2.5, 3, 4% net ROI if you're going to purchase either a used or new property and rent it out unfurnished to the local market. It's an easy model and it does work, but to get the higher returns, we do have to have this property management side under control, and it takes a big team to make that happen. And we've been very successful with it. We've started at the end of last year. We had 2 properties in our direct rental pool. As of today, we have 22 properties that we're managing directly, and it's giving us insight exactly how to accurately predict what we can generate from a property. And as I said before, it takes a lot of work, and but we've got the right team to make it happen. I'll give you guys a little tour. We're in the office here. We've kind of grown out of our current office. You can see everyone kind of working away here. This building that we're in is located in Chapinero Alto, with Carrera 4 with 58. This is in Chapinero Alto. I'll actually give you a little city tour as well. So the sunset comes right down over through there. There's some really, really spectacular sunsets that are coming out that we get from this building. So this building is it's a different model we have. We won't go too in depth into it today, but this was a building that we acquired using a different model. It wasn't an individual investor who owns directly the title. It was a pool of investors, of 21 different investors, who basically purchased shares in a SAS, a business entity in Colombia, which now owns the property and is currently being processed for licensing for the remodeling. And so those investors own a share of the business, which owns the building, which will at the moment is 3 apartments, and they will be renovated into 17 individual rental units. The final plans we're going to look at a bit more closely as we start kind of tearing down walls. But when this is a high net income cash flow asset, those investors receive preferred dividends. So at the moment, while we're waiting for the patrimonial decision, we've got a patrimonial building right here and a patrimonial building right here, which means that even though this building isn't architecturally significant and it's quite drabby, we do have to go through the patrimonial process. So there's been a bit of a extra delay on that one. But in terms of the movements in the market for what we're creating here, to have this Aparta Suites hotel with these kind of views, we've got a garden down on the bottom as well, which we're going to incorporate into the apartments. There really isn't anything like it. So it's it's a great project that is couldn't be timed any better. So in the meantime, we've got our office here. It looks we'll be at the moment we're starting a renovation on this one in 2 to 3 months. So that's when we'll be moving on from here. All right. So okay, so noise. So noise on the first floor. There's been a couple of the guests who have mentioned noise because that the front entry to the door is near the entrance to the building. As part of the budget, we're going to be upgrading the door to have noise cancellation so that we don't have that issue. It is an exterior apartment. It's an interior apartment, so it's off the street, and you're really kind of sheltered from the noise from the streets. Caracas can be quite a bit of noise, but we've got that issue with a couple of the properties on the front of the building, but at the back we don't have that issue. However, there is a construction going on the lot next door for the next 6 months to a year. That construction will be affecting during specific hours. We've been dealing that, and that's been a fun one to deal with the guests. We really have alleviated most of the problems by explaining to the guests before they arrive. We have put a discount on the prices for this temporary period while there is construction going on, and that's really alleviated a lot of the problems, a lot of the issues. And we use that same kind of philosophy in all of our all of our customer service, is that we want to manage their expectations so they know fully well what to expect, and there aren't any bad surprises. So we can take a look if you guys want to see while we're on property management. I can show you what's going on behind the scenes there, and then if you guys don't have any other questions, we can finish up. So let's let me take a look here. Did I answer your questions? Let me hear some feedback. Okay, so I'll show you what's going on behind the scenes in property management. Obviously, we're creating a furnished rental property. So, how we generate that income is important. One of the most attractive parts of investing in the furnished rental market in Bogota is the diversification of the rental markets. Now, in some areas of Colombia, there's actually in every single area in Colombia, tourism is growing exponentially. Check out an article. Tourism is exploding in 2016. That's on the Colombia International website. I go a bit more into the numbers of what's actually happening. But basically, this year it's on track to grow 23%. I personally think it's going to go well above that because of the peace process, which is going to put Colombia in the headlines because of Narcos 3. Unfortunately or fortunately, depends on what your opinion of that is, but it's certainly bringing Colombia into a lot of people's attentions. Plus, once Colombia is in peace officially, you're going to see a check mark on the books of a lot of institutions which have had their eye on Colombia and its incredible growth for quite a while, and now they can make a move. So we're going to see a lot more attention kind of come in to Colombia. So let me just switch over to our screen. So as part of that, tourism growth, Bogota is the #1 tourist destination in Colombia. It gets 51% of all guests who come to Colombia each year. That's about 1.3 million people. Now that's just the international market. The local Colombian market, there's 7 million people per year coming to Bogota. Colombia is still a very bureaucratic country. All of the national companies, even though they may have, the majority of their storefronts or operations outside of Bogota, they still require presence in Bogota. So you get huge amounts of business travelers coming from other cities, visiting family. Governmental travel, sports, leisure, general cultural activities. There's so many markets that we're discovering day by day, and we haven't even started making a huge effort in that arena. Our effort in the last this year has been about growth. It's been about growing the number of properties in the inventory, because we want our systems, we want our teams to be operational, we want them to be delivering the best customer service. We want a flow of people that are coming to us for accommodations, and we're starting to talk to internship programs, digital nomad programs, people who are setting up new offices. There's one company setting up an outsourcing company to service the United States in Colombia, and they're requiring large amounts of apartments. We're talking 30, 50 apartments at a time. So our focus has been on growth. Our occupancies have, we've done very well with SEO. We're now arriving in the top keywords for English in Google. So furnished apartments in Bogota, any of those common keywords we're ranking very well, which is getting us that direct traffic. As we build our inventory, we want to have more options. So I'll switch over the screen now, and you can take a look for yourselves our inventory for the 20 properties that we manage right now. So this is September. You see the red boxes are reservations that we've had for September. Some of these ones we've just got on. We've recently, this past week, we've gotten a few come online. So that's just coming online. So let's take a look at August. We'll see how we did last month. August 2016. Oh, switched over. So at the moment we're using Logify. It's pretty good for us right now. They're a new startup which is getting a lot of good stuff going in. So the ones you see that are completely green, those are new properties. This is how it looks like. This is one of the apartments in the same building as tip 102, and you'll see that 3-day rental periods, they generate higher incomes. There's no discount on those nightly rents. If they stay for a month or longer periods, well, there will be a discount. So we'll talk about that with the owner and say, listen, do you prefer the stability, or would you prefer to start building a good reputation where we can get a property to get so much attention that we can bring in many different guests who are paying the full nightly rate. And that was actually one of our first tips that we took on board in the same building as well as 102. We've been operating this one since October. We've now got 28 reviews of 5 stars on Airbnb, and you can see that whenever there's a gap, we get it filled. So I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions, get in contact with me directly. I know you guys are busy, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. We'll probably include a link. I believe I'll be able to get a link for this presentation if you guys have any further questions. But thanks for coming and participating in the session. It's good to it seems like it's been helpful. So as I said, I'll leave my contact details, as I'm sure most of you have it already. But have a great weekend. Think about this. We're focused on creating these properties for passive cash flow, and I think that's what we all want. We all want a bit of freedom, financial freedom in our life. That's why a lot of us have moved to Colombia. A lot of us have found lifestyles in Colombia because we reject the traditional way of doing things, and it's investments like this that allow us to start living our lives on our own accord. So thanks for coming out, guys. We'll see you later.